Welcome to Freedom from Fire. As always, we'll give you a glimpse into the Philadelphia Fire Department and show you how you can keep yourself and your family safe. In today's episode, as we celebrate Women's History Month, we will spotlight a Philadelphia firefighter who has made some history of her own. Stay here for Freedom from Fire. Hello, and welcome back to Freedom from Fire. I'm your host, Firefighter Kamilah Bayete. I am currently stationed in our department's Fire Prevention and Code Division, where community risk reduction efforts are a primary goal. Here at Freedom from Fire, we aim to improve your quality of living by giving you fire and life safety information. We also introduce you to our local safety partners. On this episode, we will talk to Firefighter Donna Garrett. Firefighter Garrett has 20 years of service with the Philadelphia Fire Department and is the first female to be assigned to Rescue One, one of the department's heavy rescue companies. Donna, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
All right, so Donna, first tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm Firefighter Garrett. I have 20 years on the job, and I'm currently stationed at Rescue One.
All right, so with that said, tell us a little bit about the various assignments you've had throughout your firefighting career.
So initially from graduating the academy, I was assigned to Engine 13, which is in North Philadelphia, Fairmount border. From there, I was briefly stationed at Ladder 25, and then now I'm at Rescue One for the past 6, maybe going on 7 years.
All right, so tell me, what was your path from Ladder 25 into your current assignment at Rescue One? How did that come about?
So I originally ended up at Ladder 25 through mass transfers that the fire department had. I was only there for about a year, and at the time I went there, I was already kind of on the list for the SOC, which is like the Special Operations Company training. So pretty much right after I got there, I went through the training, and then I was selected into Rescue One.
Okay, so going right into that training, tell me about the special training that you had to go through to be certified in SOC. Explain to us what SOC is, and then what the training was.
Sure. So SOC is Special Operations Company training. We specialize in swift water rescue, high angle rescue, confined space rescue, any really technical rescue as far as trench rescue, anything that involves like a technical rescue, anything that's a little bit more involved than our, say, typical firefighting, the SOC companies will kind of handle those situations.
Okay, and then how long was that training?
That's a pretty intense training. That's about 9 months of training that we do. Yeah. Each discipline kind of has its own like requirement of hours. So for each discipline, you kind of have to, pass a series of tests, physical tests, written tests in order to be kind of qualified and checked off in that discipline. So it takes about 9 months to get all that training in.
Wow. So that's kind of like what the fire academy would be to cadets is. Special operations would be that training.
Yeah, somewhat, but really ramped up.
Yeah.
Yes.
It sounds it. So
Yeah.
tell us more about what Rescue One does, what kind of incidents you respond to.
So we respond to any working box or fire that we have. We call a box. I know, but I guess maybe some people might not. So a box, is any like all hands working fire, any big fire per se, or any fire that has in a high rise or in a building where they're going to need maybe extra hands. Rescue One will respond to that. We also respond to any heavily entrapped victims in a vehicle, any special operations. Some of the responses that we had that were pretty major in the city were like building collapses, the train derailment, stuff like that. Anything on the bridge, any water rescues that we need, we kind of do that kind of stuff also.
So that's a big shift. That's definitely a big
Yeah.
shift from just your regular fire ground operations to special operations. So what was the biggest challenge in that transition for you from like engine and ladder operations to heavy rescue?
Yeah, so there is definitely a huge kind of transition or learning curve where you would say maybe like an engine has a specific duty, maybe to stretch the hose line and get into the seat of the fire and extinguish the fire, and a ladder has maybe concentrate on rescue and ventilation. Where as a special operations company, you kind of, maybe look at the bigger picture or kind of see the next step beyond that, and also handling special operations calls. So there's a lot more that goes into it, I guess, maybe a lot more that you kind of have to, maybe be up on with your skills, kind of keep everything a little sharp. Cause it could go from a water rescue to a high angle rescue, to a fire. So you just kind of have to keep that ball moving.
All right. So with that said, what if there is a typical day for you? What is a typical day in Rescue One for you?
I say typically, we run like any other firehouse. We know the importance, be prepared for work, have a good lunch, but always be prepared. That's the big thing. And I just think, as all the other firefighters know, being prepared and have the equipment that you need and having it ready to go, and the importance of that and the importance of being proficient on that equipment. It's just, for us, there's just so much equipment. So our typical day really, we have 3 frontline pieces and there's a ton of equipment. So just kind of getting your hands on that, making sure everything's ready to go, and, just being super prepared. If something happens, it's like, let's go. Nobody has time to wait for us to now get ready. We have to be ready with everything from the get-go.
Okay, and speaking of that, in terms of being ready and being prepared, what kind of training? I know that just in working in the firehouse that we have several training evolutions that we go through on any tour, just to stay up on things and to stay trained. What kind of ongoing training do you do either at the firehouse or on your own?
Yep. So we do have training that we do and training evolutions that we'll do. The guys that have been at rescue and the guys that had come before me, they really have developed, training props, and we have a system where we can rig up ropes and work on our rope skills and things like that. So we do have a lot of, things that we can do. We even have, railroad ties. We can break out our cutting equipment and, use our torches and things like that. So the guys that have really come before me have set these things up, and they're kind of there for us to train on. And we do pull that equipment out and use it.
So now in your 6 to 7 years of working at Rescue One, how has your understanding of fire ground operations changed since you've moved into to special operations?
Yeah, I think it's most definitely has broadened. And that probably comes with a little bit of, now I have more time on. So that helps the experience, and really just being surrounded by the guys that are at that company. They have a lot of experience. You hate to say that they've kind of been there, done that, but they have done a lot of stuff. And now being there, I've had the opportunity to kind of get a lot of extra special training and extra, maybe work in. So you definitely become more confident, and you kind of have seen some situations before, or you've kind of maybe trained or prepared for things. So it definitely has broadened my maybe spectrum of firefighting and technical operations.
Okay, so kind of sticking in the same area of things that have maybe broadened your perspective in the fire department. So in addition to your work in the field, you also have been an instructor at the Fire Academy. All right,
Yes.
that is actually how I first met you, as my instructor. You've taught several academy classes since then. So is it safe to say that you enjoy teaching?
I do. I think the first time I was asked to go, I kind of thought, oh, I don't know. And then as I got to do it, I really kind of enjoy it. I'm actually teaching the class that's coming in now. And I think it's important for us to have, now that there's more women coming in the academy, I think it's important to have, women there also that can share that perspective, or, maybe sometimes just a different teaching technique or something can be very helpful, or just someone that just looks like you. Hey, there's another girl here. This is great. So I do enjoy it. And I always kind of, tell them, like when I go to teach, like I want to learn something too. So I hope to learn something. I hope to teach them something. I feel like that's a win-win for everybody if that happens. So yeah, I think I like it.
So what do you feel that adds having more diversity in the instructors in the academy?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely important. I mean, let's be honest, everybody likes to maybe see people that look like them, or it just gives them a more sense of feeling as though they belong, or maybe it just gives them that little bit of confidence, like, hey, I can do this. So it's extremely important. I mean, I was fortunate. My class had a lot of females in it. We did not have any female instructors when I was there on fireside, with excellent paramedic instructors, but no fireside. And I do feel like we wish we had that. Luckily, we did have each other, but it's just different to kind of have it and see someone who's been through this process, who was successful at it, and is now kind of rooting for you.
Absolutely. Well, I can say it definitely for me, that was just a big motivator for me. And it's just great, as you said, to have people in there who can relate to, and even just
Yeah,
being a woman in the academy, like technique wise,
yeah,
learning different techniques that you can use to maybe do the same thing.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah. So what do you enjoy most about teaching?
I think I enjoy the beginning when they really are just kind of like open-minded and just like a sponge to it all. But the fun, I think, comes through like watching them develop, and then you can almost see like, boom, they got it. And that process of like coming in as a new cadet and then kind of learning and then graduating and going out into the field and being successful, and working hard, and they're enjoying the job, and you see them out there, you're like, man, this is great. This is great.
Yeah. So what experience, is there anything that you experienced as an instructor that surprised you, something maybe you didn't expect?
Yeah, I honestly didn't know how much I would enjoy it, and I didn't know how much, you can learn from cadets and stuff. A lot of times, they'll do things out of just not knowing, and you're like, wait a minute, that works. Like, holy cow. So maybe that kind of connection, or just a connection that you end up having with them afterwards, and you kind of see them out in the street, and like, hey, I know you. Yeah, so I didn't really expect that, but that's been pretty enjoyable.
So sticking with that, surprises, things that surprised you. What about when you moved over to Rescue One? Is there anything maybe something you expected that was different, or just something that surprised you when you began?
I think me going to rescue surprised other people more than it surprised me. But I don't know that anything surprised me. It's like going anywhere new. You kind of have that, maybe just more pressure of, trying to fit in and making sure you do the right thing, and knowing like, oh boy, I'm here now. I better not drop the ball. So yeah, and overall, I think I was pretty well received. I mean, of course, it took a little bit of time for some guys to get used to, but I mean, I couldn't be happier. Things are just great now.
Oh, that's great. That's
Yeah,
great. All right. So with that said, we are going to take a short break. But when
excellent.
we return, we'll keep this awesome conversation going. So please stay tuned.
As birthplace to the first volunteer fire companies, Philadelphia is home to one of the nation's premier fire museums. Fireman's Hall Museum displays the city's fire history in addition to promoting fire safety. You can visit Fireman's Hall Museum in Old City at 147 North 2nd Street. Visit firemanshallmuseum.org to learn more, or watch the museum's show, Curator's Corner, on LaSalle TV.
Welcome back to Freedom from Fire. I'm your host, Firefighter Kamilah Bayete. We are talking to Firefighter Donna Garrett of Rescue One. All right, so Donna, one of the keys to being an excellent firefighter is staying in peak physical condition. One of the ways Local 22 accomplishes this, Local 22, for those who don't know, is the local union for Philadelphia firefighters and paramedics. One of the ways Local 22 accomplishes this is through the Philly Fire's Motivated Fitness. Motivated Fitness provides free boot camp style classes and personal training for Philadelphia Fire Department members and their spouses. So Donna, you are one of the instructors for these classes, right?
Yes, I am.
All right, so can you tell us more about Philly Fire's Motivated Fitness and how you became involved with it?
So I got involved with John Stankiewicz, who's a lieutenant in the fire department and is formerly a Rescue One member. I believe he was the guy who originally kind of started or partnered with our health plan and our union in starting this program. So just through knowing John all these years, and we had always kind of like either worked out or did these races or runs together. He knew I was kind of into that kind of thing. And I guess he initially asked me, like, do you want to be involved? Do you want to be a trainer? And of course, I thought it was an excellent idea. So I jumped on at the very beginning. And now we have a couple CrossFit style gyms around the city that our union and health plan kind of partner with in order to give us space time in order to, run boot camps and workouts. And it's been phenomenal.
And so tell me about the training that you had to go. You had to be certified in order to teach the classes?
Yeah, so you have to be a certified personal trainer. So I don't know how many trainers we have now, but we're all certified personal trainers. We went through like a long kind of course, and then every 2 years you have to kind of re-up on that in order to keep your certification for the training. So after we did that, it's basically now just getting in the gym and training and setting up programs and nutrition and, basic just healthy support for, health and wellness, however you see that it will work for you, whether it's through nutrition or, working out. So it's an excellent program, and I hope everybody either gets involved or whoever's involved stays involved.
Well, it definitely is a great program. I have been able to utilize the program. Yeah. So tell us how the response has been to the program. You said it's going well, so obviously the response is good.
Yeah, so it's going pretty well. The more members that come in, the better. It's free for us. Our health plan and our union pay for it, but for the members, I feel like you can't beat it. You can come in, kind of work out with, your own people, a bunch of firefighters or paramedics, and get a really good workout in. So it has been going well. But the more members that we can get in, the better. So I love just telling people, like, just come in and check it out. It's, you can really make it what you want. We can scale it to whatever you need. And it's a phenomenal program.
That's great. And because we talked earlier about staying in top shape, physical condition is very important for firefighting. And so that program definitely, you can probably attest to this, that
Yeah.
it's very helpful for
Very helpful.
And the great thing too about that is the community. It
Yep.
fosters again that community of firefighters.
Absolutely.
All right. So tell me, so the trainers that are involved with this program, is it a volunteer type thing?
So you do get paid through the, I guess it's through the health plan. We'll get like a little bit of a stipend for teaching a class. And I think any of us initially when we started, we had to do it for free. And then I guess as it started, they decided that they would give us a little bit of pay for, I guess cleaning up and setting up and utilizing our time. I'm pretty sure we would all do it for free. We won't tell them that, but we would, like I said, and we all know working out not only is good for you physically, but mentally and emotionally. And I feel like having this job, you really need that kind of cleansing almost. And I get it through working out. And, it's a good way to kind of stimulate that kind of good endorphins in your body and maybe wash out the day or the night that you had at work.
Absolutely. So if there are members who would like to, members who might be interested in getting the certification and becoming pure fitness trainers in the program, how would they go about that?
So right now, I believe it's Danny Granroth is in charge of that. And anywhere on our local 22 union website, Motivated Fitness has its own kind of little click on, drop down. You can go in there and get some information on how to contact him or how to get involved. You know, if you want to attend gym classes, you can get the hours, or if you want to become a trainer, you can find out how to do that also.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Thank you for that.
Sure.
All right, so going to your time in the academy as a cadet.
Yes.
All right. Last season we had Battalion Chief Lisa Forrest on the show. You two were classmates in the fire
Yes.
academy, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so including yourself, class 178, your class had some pretty heavy hitters.
Yeah.
So tell us about the group of women in your class.
So we had 10 females in our class, which I still think is the highest number in one class. Aside from that, you know, as far as I'm concerned, the 178 had the best group of women. No offense to anybody else, but I gotta show my solidarity to my girls. But yeah, so we had quite a few. I almost hate to name them because I don't want to miss anybody, but Lisa Forrest, who's the chief, Linda Long. We had Captain Mungin, Tara Mungin, and just a slew of really good females. And our one classmate, Joyce Craig, as we all know, was the first female fallen in the line of duty, was also a classmate of ours. Excellent firefighter, excellent classmate, excellent friend, and you know, just solidly did her job. And unfortunately, she did make the ultimate sacrifice for the city of Philadelphia.
All right, so that is a pretty outstanding group of women you just named. So
yeah.
Tell me, as a cadet, as a female cadet in the academy, what was that like? What was the training like in the academy as a female? And then as a female, when you began your career in the field, what was that experience like?
So the academy, I mean, I really enjoyed it. I was a Division I college athlete and have pretty much always been a tomboy. So that kind of stuff, I really kind of thrive on. So I really enjoyed the aspect of the academy and the military style boot camp of it. So to me, that wasn't bad. I really did like that. And then we had a good group of women of supporting each other, and you know, and the rest of the 178, excellent guys as well, excellent instructors. Transitioning from the academy, your safe little space, out into the world is tough, because even though it was 20 years ago and it wasn't groundbreaking that there were women around, it was still very new to a lot of guys. They had never worked with females. And but some of the guys at my station had at the time 30 years on and had never worked with a female, and some of them were absolutely shell-shocked, like, where did you come from and how did you get here? And but you know, over a little bit of time, and you know, they get used to you and you kind of get used to them, you can, you know, build your happy little home around that, and everything ends up being pretty good.
Excellent. So transitioning from Engine 13 to where you are now at Rescue 1, what does it mean for you to be the first female assigned to Rescue 1?
Oh, that's not tough, but that's I will say this: being number one, or you know, being the first, not being number one, but being the first, is not all it's cracked up to be, really. It's good and it's bad. So the good part is, you know, there are people who are rooting for your success, and there are people who stuck their neck out and said, hey, this girl's really doing her thing, give her a shot. And then, you know, and there are people who are like, you go get them, you got this, and that's great. On the other hand, there are some people who are not really rooting for your success, and then they're like, hey, how did she get here? What's going on around here? So, and also the people who have kind of supported you, or maybe, you know, put their word out for you, there's the pressure of, you don't want to disappoint them, you know what I mean? You don't want to let them down. So, you know, being number one is nice. It can be a little lonely sometimes, but it's good, because you know, I feel like my job is to just make sure I kick that door open and, you know, come on girls, hurry up, get in before anybody notices, you know. But yeah, so it's got its good and its bad being the first, you know.
Us women in the Philadelphia Fire Department appreciate women like you, firefighters like you, who kick the door open for us.
Well, I appreciate it. That's the part that's the good, when you're like, all right, that's great. I'm glad, and I hope I do a good job for those women who are rooting for me. So that's the pressure, but that's good. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So females constitute 12% of uniformed personnel in the Philadelphia Fire Department. Can you compare that to the numbers when you began your career 20 years ago? And where would you like to see those numbers 20 years from now?
Yeah, so I don't know exactly what the percentage was when I came on, but it was a lot lower even 20 years ago. And so that was like 02, 03, which wasn't groundbreaking time. There were women before us, thankfully, that really have opened the door and kind of trudged through and got us, into the point where like more women can come in and be more accepted. So there definitely wasn't nearly as many then. Now it seems like every class has a handful of girls, if not more, and they've put a ton of classes in over the past 20 years. So I think it's great. On one hand, it's great to see these women coming out and they're confident and they're strong and they're doing a great job. And, a lot of them have made rank and are in special companies or just heavy hitting companies, as they say. And I feel like they have contributed a lot to the department. And on the other hand, it is a physically taxing, mentally, emotionally taxing job. So that can make it tough. I would like to see, more women come in if that's what they want to do. It's certainly something that they can do. We've seen it ourselves and we've done it ourselves. So we know it's possible. So I just feel like if there are women out there who are thinking about coming in the department, like, come on, give it a shot. Like, you can definitely do this. You just put your head down and trudge through and kind of get it all done. That work is not that hard to accomplish if you just keep pushing.
Excellent. So I hope outside of the Philadelphia Fire Department that other women and young girls are listening. That this is a job that women can be successful in.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So tell us before we end, who is Donna Garrett outside of the Philadelphia Fire Department?
Yikes. Probably the same kind of person. I can tell a good joke. I can take a good joke. Definitely adventurous. I like to get out and about and kind of do traveling, and I'm still doing these triathlons and mud runs and stuff. So I still kind of have that adventurous spirit, I guess, even though I'm getting older. So I'm not as fast as I was at these adventures, but I'm still doing them. I enjoy hanging out with my friends, my family, and just looking forward to maybe retirement now.
So you have 20 years in. What's the next 20 years for you look like?
Well, they won't be here. I don't want to be here that much longer. A handful or so more, and then after that, hopefully, if I'm lucky enough, retire, strong and healthy, and get out there and do some traveling, and hopefully live long enough to collect that pension for 30 years or so, and just enjoy, life and travel, good food, good wine, all the stuff we all want.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, I hope you get all that and more.
Ditto.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. So Donna, again, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed this.
All right. Excellent. So to learn more about joining the Philadelphia Fire Department, visit phila.gov/fire. And if you would like to keep up with our show, Freedom from Fire, look for us on Verizon Channel 36, Comcast Channel 56, and LaSalle TV's YouTube page. Also, check out Fireman's Hall Museum, located at 147 North 2nd Street, and meet with our museum curator, firefighter Brian Anderson. I would like to once again thank our guests for joining us today. I also would like to thank you. Yeah, thank you. I would also like to thank you for tuning in and watching. So until next time, remember, fire is everyone's fight. Stay safe and remain free from fire.